Hi, welcome to Barks to Basics with Jamie Diaz. So today I am solo, but we are talking about dog equipment. So from everything from a clicker to a shock collar and what to use, what not to use, and why, and things that I feel are a necessity as far as equipment and what you should use. So I think there's a lot of advice out there that you get from everybody. I just want to tell you, be really careful of what you do see on the internet, on social media, because a lot of those people that are telling you to do things
do not have the credentials to be telling you to do them. So I think it's super important that you kind of research the people that you are following and make sure they have those dog training certifications and what they have, because everybody has advice. I mean, everybody on my social media, even when I post stuff, they love giving advice. I am coming from data, proven data that I've seen in the last 17 years and obviously research studies. So I do have to put on my readers. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with the easy stuff. So let's start with things that I think could benefit you, and I'll tell you why and why not it could benefit you. So let's start with something as easy as a clicker. So a clicker marks the behavior that you want from your dog. Now, clickers are amazing. Karen Pryor, who just passed away, amazing trainer, was at the forefront of training, created clicker training. She has a whole school, Karen Pryor Clicker Academy, which is an amazing school that you can go to. But what is the clicker? So a lot of people ask me, do you do clicker training? I used to always use the clicker. And what I found is a lot of people have terrible timing. So if you don't have good timing or good hands, you really don't want to use the clicker. But the way the clicker works is you have to have food if you're using the clicker. If your dog hears that click, that means he did something right. He's getting a treat. So it's not to get his attention. So what it would look like is you ask your dog to sit. His bum hits the floor. You click and give a treat. So for the dog, it tells them, yes, I did something right. Now, the great thing about the clicker is you don't have to say a word. You can literally train your dog to do every single skill without using any verbal cues and just using that clicker, because they will know what to do. So what do I mean? If your dog is barking, right? He's barking, barking, barking. He gives you 2 seconds of quiet. You pause, click, treat. So he knows, I just got rewarded. Oh, all you want me to do is be quiet. Instead of us saying, quiet, stop, and yelling at the dog, it's a great way to tell your dog that's all I want you to do. Same with jumping. For the clicker, a lot of times, if you have a jumping dog when you come in the house, a lot of things I will tell owners to do is have your clicker and treats like on a counter. Walk in the house, your dog's jumping, ignore, ignore, ignore. Go to the counter and just wait. Wait for your dog to have 4 paws on the floor or give you a sit, and then you're going to click and give a treat. So for the dog, they're going to continue that behavior because they're reinforced for that behavior. So clicker is a great tool. If you have bad timing or you do not want that extra step, you can simply use the word yes in place of the clicker so your dog knows. Just remember, you have to have food to reinforce. You have to have that food after you say yes, after you click, to reinforce your dog. So clicker is a great tool. You do not have to use it, but it's great to use for training. So another thing, and I should have brought it, but I didn't, that I absolutely love in dog training, and I can probably say you guys probably won't, I've never seen this anywhere this passionately that I love to use it, is the target stick. So the target stick is it looks like an antenna, has like a little ball at the end, and you can open it up, and it's for dogs to target things. So the great thing about the target stick is dogs, if you teach them correctly, they love to target. So you can actually use the target stick for things like heel work, recalls. For deaf dogs, target stick. If you have a deaf dog, you have to have a target stick. I just had a woman in one of my Taming Tarzan class. The dog is reactive. And I introduced her to the target stick. She was like, oh my gosh, like what a difference it makes, because it's a visual cue for the dog to get them to do what you need them to do. So you can help them sit, the watchman, because they're following that little ball at the end. It's so small, you can hold it in your pocket. Great for reactive dogs, great for puppies, great for cats if you want to. Shane, thank you. Loved, sorry, I have my TikTok live too and the podcast. Thank you for watching. Love watching your training videos. But you definitely want to incorporate that target stick with your daily training. It's amazing, especially with reactive dogs. So some of the other good things, I'm going back to my notes, clicker, target stick. One of the other things that I think is a must-have, two things. Let's go with the whistle. Regular sports whistle. I've used this. It's very easy to train with a whistle. A whistle I use for recalls. It is great for an emergency recall. It has saved me so many times for my dogs, like running out of the yard and me like, oh crap, like where are my dogs? I had 5 at the time. I'd go in, get my piece of cheese, get my whistle and blow that whistle, and they've all come back multiple times. So a regular sports whistle is also a great tool that you can use for training your dog. The other thing is actually a muzzle. So I would like everybody to train their dogs with a muzzle, like right from puppyhood. So every single owner that has a dog should have a muzzle. Why? Because there is going to be a time that your dog gets hurt, breaks a paw, falls out, like something. They have a hot spot that they won't let the veterinarian check because it's so painful. They are going to need, the veterinarian is going to muzzle them. There's no question about it. So I much rather my dog be comfortable. I like to use a basket muzzle that you can eat from. And so you would kind of use it as a bowl, the basket muzzle. It's like riding a bike. So just imagine your dog, you train them as a puppy, 1-year-old, to love this muzzle. You put it on, you feed them in it for a week or two, you do training sessions with the strap strapped on, and then you put it away. Now, 5 years later, your dog has a hangnail that the vet has to remove, and he needs to check it, but he's going to muzzle him because your dog's going to bite. Why? Because when dogs are in pain, they are fearful, they can bite and they will bite. That's their defense mechanism. So the vet's going to say, let me slap a muzzle on him. And you're going to say, oh, wait, I have one in my car that he loves. You're going to bring out that muzzle from 5 years before. He's going to see it and he's going to be like, oh my gosh, I loved that thing. And you'll be able to put it on, and it's one tool that you can have your dog comfortable with using. So I would say everybody go out there, buy a basket muzzle. There's different brands, Baskerville. I mean, there are so many. It obviously depends on the breed too. So Frenchies and stuff like that. The Baskerville is probably not a good fit, but there are so many. 2 prerequisites. You want to make sure that your dog can eat from it and drink from it. And we are going to, by the way, go over what not to use as well. But first, right now, I'm going over what to use. So right now in your toolbox, you would have your clicker, target stick, muzzle. The other thing that I would make sure that you have is a treat bag. So I carry, like, we have our own treat bags that are awesome if anybody wants one, but they carry like my keys. I carry citronella spray in case like there's an animal coming towards me that may like attack my dog. I also have my treats. I have everything in there. It's by the leashes. It's just easy to kind of put on. I like the treat bags with the belt because the other ones will just fall off. You want to have stuff on you. Now, you can certainly just put it in your pocket, but I much rather have my bag all ready to go when I'm walking my dog, because you want to be able to be ready to pay your dog if they make a good choice on the walk. So your dogs might walk beautifully. They might be already trained, but wouldn't you want to pay your dog if, like, I don't know, there's a dog coming at them, barking at them, doing crazy, and your dog just sits politely while they're like walking by, or there's a bunch of bikes doing a race and there's 30 bikes passing them and your dog just sits politely with no reaction. You want to be able to like pay those those situations. So I always like to have something on me, and the treat bag is just the easiest way. I don't always have pockets on me. So it's just an easy way right by the leash to put it on. So those are some of the things that I love having. So also, as far as equipment, we're going to get into this too. I like a harness, period, end of story. Everybody posts and thinks they know certain things. Let me just kind of get into that. A regular back clip harness is great. Your dog will pull stronger on a back clip harness because it's on the back. They'll be able to use all their might to pull. I remember I did a board and train not too long ago. I posted with a little Dotson. He was the worst walker I've ever seen. Sorry, Benny, on a back clip harness. He would pull. The walk was so horrendous. We were like 2 blocks down. I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I think I picked him up for the rest of the walk because one, he was probably ripping his pads from pulling so much. So if you have a dog that's a major puller, a back clip harness is not the way to go. So you want a front clip harness. So the 2 harnesses that I like are Freedom and Sensation harnesses. So Freedom harness, again, it's amazing. It has a back and a front clip. I like to use the front clip. It does come with a special leash that clips on both. I'm not crazy about that. I just like using I'll go over leashes too. I just like using a regular leash, but it clips on the front, or Sensation. So Sensation is similar to the Easy Walk, if you guys know what that is. But it doesn't have a martingale on the chest, which is way better. So when I used to use the Easy Walks, clients would put tape on it so it didn't move. It would always loosen. It was just not a good fit for the dog. So Sensation is very similar to Easy Walk. It doesn't have that martingale. It lays flat on the chest, and you would clip the leash on the chest. So let's go over leashes. So these are all things we want to use, and then we're going to go into the do not use. So leashes. I like using a regular flat nylon leash, leather leash that's minimum of 6. I actually like using a 10-foot leash because it gives the dog more choice to kind of sniff and do things, and you can always make it smaller. So a 6 to 10-foot leash is what you're walking. If you have a dog that's right next to you and it's only 4 feet, you're not giving your dog any choice when they're walking. You're not giving them any choice. So you want to make sure that you're giving them a little bit of choice. Just get a regular flat leash. So even those things having is like a great start for your dog. So again, clicker, target stick, harness, also treat bag, flat collar, a flat leash. Also, let's go into collars. So, well, we're going to go a lot into collars, but I like just using a regular flat, snap collar that if they ever get stuck, it's like an easy snap to get off. No chain, no anything on there. I'm going to go into the do not use, but I just like using a regular flat collar like that. I have the collar. I think I got it from Amazon that you can get the phone number and his name on there. It's embroidered on there. It's like $15, but what I don't want, there's so many dogs outside right now doing inappropriate things. What you don't want is anything that can kind of restrict their airway on their neck. So you want to make sure it's just a flat collar. So let's go to some of the do not use, and I'm going to tell you why. If you guys are using them, there is a better way. So they have outside. I'm just looking. One dog's playing off the leash. The other dog's on the leash. Very cute though. Retractable leashes. Everyone that has a small dog loves using the retractable leashes. It's just not, it's very dangerous. So you can actually, I've had clients sever their heels, paws, fingers. It's a really thin kind of thing. The idea is great that you can pull out and go all the way out, wherever, especially you see it a lot on little dogs. But they're very dangerous, and it actually promotes pulling. So we usually teach a dog, when you don't have that tension on the leash, we get to go forward. When you have tension, we stop. This is tight all the time. So your dog actually learns to have that tight leash to move forward. So retractable leash is not a fan. If you want your dog to have more space, they have the regular flat leashes that you can get in 10, 20, 30 feet that you can use those and kind of lasso them in and lasso them out. So definitely no retractable leashes. Let's go into some of the little things that people have at their house that I would say definitely not do. Spray bottles. So with my mom's dogs, we use all the things. Shaker can with pennies, the spray bottles. So let's start with spray bottles. Spray bottles, you spray the water in their face. It stops the behavior for that time, but it does not cure the problem, right? And now you're creating fear. So I remember with my one dog, I was like, you don't even have to spray it. You just have to, and people say that the same with the shock collars. You don't even have to shock them. You don't even have to spray it. As soon as I pick up the bottle, he stops. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you created this fear response in the dog that they literally are crapping their pants, that they don't want to get sprayed, that they're going to stop the behavior, but that's not fixing the reason why they were barking before that. So we have to fix that problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it. So no spray bottles, no shaker cans with pennies. So there's actually trainer companies still using this that they put, I think one of them is Bark Busters. They put they used to put coins or something in this bag. And when your dog was doing something they were not supposed to, you were supposed to check it, chuck it at them. So you don't want to do that either, right? You don't want to use any scare techniques that are going to scare your dog. So no shaker cans, no spray bottle. Again, you're just masking the problem. And I get it. I used it when we were growing up with our dogs because one, that's what we were told to do, and it stopped the annoying behavior. It's annoying when dogs bark and don't stop barking, right? I lose it and yell sometimes at my dogs. It's just that emotional response. You're like, stop. And if you can have something that'll stop it, I see why people want to use it, but we can fix it, and we can also make sure that your dog is in a healthy space, that you're not causing fear for them. The other thing that I keep seeing actually a lot on TikTok now too, which is so messed up. There's this, I think I used this once years ago too, this ultrasonic button thing that you use to get your dog to stop barking. It's such at a high frequency. I think I tried to use it for jumping. It was probably 18 years ago before I knew. It makes this noise and the dog stops and you're like, oh my gosh. So on TikTok, I've been seeing people using it, but with other dogs, which is messed up. So the one lady was at her house and the dog's barking next door and they go outside and they hit this button. You're that's abuse to me, to my dog. I don't want anybody correcting my dog in that way. So again, the dog is stopping the behavior, but it's causing this fear response. And we don't know, their ears are so sensitive. We don't know how much, how bad their ears hurt when you're pressing these things. So I've been seeing it a lot on TikTok specifically. You don't want to use any ultrasonic kind of thing like that. And it's funny, I'm going to be doing a taming Tarzan class starting on Saturday for reactive dogs. And we do a Zoom, which we had last night. And one of the gentlemen said, I got this thing. It's an ultra sound thing. And when my dog is barking at the other dogs, I press it and it's amazing. He stops. Well, what is your dog associating with that other dog? He's going to actually wind up getting worse and really not like other dogs, because every time he sees another dog, he's getting that association of that buzz, that sound. So try not to use any of those kinds of devices. So the other thing that I'm not crazy about is a head halter, gentle leader. Okay, so I'll tell you why. One, the head halter takes a long time to get the dogs used to it. So you'll see the dog, you'll put it on, it's the one that goes around the snout, and you'll see them constantly pushing like this. For some reason, golden retrievers do very well on them. If you train it right and your dog does not mind it at all, and you got to be careful because it rubs the hair and the skin off the nose, and your dog is not pulling but walking beautifully on it, fine. If you have a reactive dog and you're trying to use a head halter, not a good fit. Why? Your dog's going to be thrashing, their neck's going to be moving, and I don't like to use any device while training. I don't want to just restrict their movement with this head halter because he's having an emotional response to something. I want to work through that emotional response and try and fix the problem, not, again, mask it. So, again, head halters fall in that kind of gray area. I don't ever use them. I'm not a fan. But if you train it right with your dog and he doesn't pull and he walks beautifully on it, then okay. So let's get into the nitty gritty of some of these things. Let's start with the least aversive. I won't say they're all bad, but let's go back with equipment. Well, let's start first too. Any like martingale collars, you really, really, really want to be careful with those. I have had clients who they have the martingale with the chain. Their dogs have gotten stuck. It has been like a nightmare. I do not like any kind ever since then of martingale, anything that can get stuck on the collar. I just use, again, that flat collar just with a buckle. You want to be really careful with those martingales because they tighten, and they kind of restrict the dog's airways. But let's also go into choke collars. So choke collars, again, not a fan. I don't think I've ever seen one dog walking beautifully on a choke collar. The point of the choke collar is that you yank it so hard to choke your dog that your dog never repeats that behavior again. One, it's cruel. Most owners do not use it correctly, how it was made to be used. And again, all you hear is the dog, they're like choking and their airways are getting messed up. And you actually, once you damage the dog's trachea, you've damaged the dog's trachea and you're going to kind of hear that noise forever. So I feel like most people don't choose the choke collars right now, but if you cannot choose it at all, that would be best. And then prong collars. So let's go into prong collars. Prong collars are those collars that they actually disguise them a lot now, but they have the little prongs that people say it's like what the mother does to her puppy. No, guys, that's not the mom, right? You're not the mom. The collar is not the mom. The dogs know that's not the mom. So a lot of people call it a training collar. I would love to see somebody train their dog on a prong collar and then switch to a regular collar, and then the dog actually walks perfectly, because guess what? It does not happen. You have to wear that prong collar forever. Same kind of thing. I just saw a guy on social media, a trainer, that the dog was reacting to cars. And what the trainer did is there was a car passing and he yanked him so hard he like flew into the air, yelped. And guess what happened to the next car that passed? Oh, guess what? They did not react. He fixed him. That's amazing. My car chasing problem is over. You can literally beat anybody into doing something. It's not the route to go, people. It's not the way to go. It's not the way to hurt animals like that. We don't do it with any other animal. We don't do it with dolphins. We don't do it with any animal that we train in the wild. We are not putting on a gorilla a prong collar and like yanking him when he doesn't do something. Like, we would never do that. For some reason, society thinks it's okay to use these devices on the dog. So prong collars, huge no. Again, it's not teaching. Everyone says it doesn't hurt. I put it on me. So everybody has a different pain tolerance. Same to your dogs. You cannot tell me how your dog is feeling, right? So I had a dog, Cameo. We would wipe his paws from the rain. He would yelp, like literally wipe his paws. He would yelp. And my husband's like, what are you doing I'm not doing anything. I'm wiping his paws, but his pain tolerance was so low for his paws that he would yelp. We obviously worked on counter conditioning that and do different things, but every dog has a different pain tolerance, and you cannot say what that pain tolerance is. And you also cannot say if it's hurting your dog or not hurting your dog. So again, prong collars, the point of them are that you yank it so hard, your dog does not repeat the behavior again. Also, you're walking your dog. I have seen dogs walk beautifully on a prong collar, right? Switch them to a regular collar then. You can't, because again, they're not going to learn that lesson. They've learned that they feel discomfort. Whatever discomfort means to you, you can say it doesn't hurt, whatever discomfort means to you, for that dog, it's discomfort enough that he's not pulling anymore. So I don't like to use any devices like that. I like to actually train the dog what to do. So just remember that. And if you are using a prong collar, we can easily fix you to like a front clip harness and teach your dog actually how to walk without a leash first. I always teach loose leash walking without a leash first. And then we'll move on to the leash. So again, prong collars, I don't know if you guys know this, in a lot of countries they're actually banned, shock collars, prong collars, all of those things. We're like way behind when it comes to that. There's zero regulations. Hopefully one day while I'm still alive, we can see these regulations happen for these devices. So the other worst thing not to get, so we're already no chokers, no prong collars, no shaker cans, no spray bottles, is, sorry, I'm reading these too, the shock collar. So let's go over like shock and vibration. There's actually a ton of research on prong collars too, by the way. There's a ton of like scientific studies and research done with this. So, it's already there. It's already like proven. It does ruin the relationship. It does cause psychological damage for the dog. But for the shock collar, first of all, there's no need. If you are using it, now listen, people use these things. They're not trying to abuse their dogs. They're trying to help their dogs, but it is a form of abuse in my eyes. So when people do come in with them, I'm not like screaming at them. Like I want to teach them. I want to educate them. So with the shock collar, again, the shock comes for, we don't know when. And again, you can say it doesn't hurt. I have it on the lowest frequency already. You cannot tell me what your dog hurts them or not. You're not inside your dog. Just like I can say to somebody, oh, stop that needle. It's so easy. Like who cares? Like everyone has different pain tolerances. I can't get into your head, just like you can't get into your dog's head about how something feels. They own that. So you want to make sure you're listening to that. But again, they're stopping that behavior because they're getting a shock, which causes a fear response. And then a lot of people will put on a shock collar and say, put the shock collar on and again, say, I don't even have to shock him. He just has to have it on him. Well, think about what that's doing to the dog. The psychological damage that has been done is that this thing doesn't even need to be shocked anymore, that they're so fearful of that uncomfortable stimulus. Even if it's like, if anybody ever scared you with those like vibration pens and you literally like jump and like, what the heck? It's uncomfortable for the dog. Whether it hurts, whether it doesn't, whether they just don't like that feeling of the vibration, the reason the behaviors stop is because it's uncomfortable. It's just science, right? They're not going to repeat that behavior that they're doing because they're feeling pain or discomfort when they're doing it. So for me, shock collars are like top number one thing. When I see it on puppies, it like kills me because these guys are little sponges that you can teach anything. When I see it on any dog, aggressive dogs, great way to get bit. I would not train a dog on a shock collar and then think I'm going to adopt him out into society and have him with my family and my kids. A lot of these situations that happen, you see on the news and stuff, I would love to know the backgrounds of the dogs, how they were trained, and how they were treated in that way. So if you are using a shock collar, we can certainly teach you ways to not use a shock collar. I think it's very detrimental to the dog and would love for those also to be banned. But as far as like devices that you don't need, that's on the top of my list. And again, if you talk to any behaviorist in the world that actually did their residency and has a true behavior background with any animal in the world, like why aren't they using shock collars on tigers? Why aren't they using shock collars on? Why? Because they will get a not so great response, and they can actually die from these animals. But we'll put it on a 8-pound Maltese to get them to stop barking. So I would say, as far as tools, hopefully this helped you guys a little bit with what to use, what not to use. I will stay on the social media for a little bit more, but there are so many things out there. You just want to make sure you're doing the research. And if it seems to be a quick fix, there are no quick fixes for anything that quick with training, and you don't want to use any devices. If you're having to use a device, if you're having to use a leash to yank, anything like that, that's not a good device to use. We want to teach, again, your dogs what to do. So you can listen to this podcast anywhere where podcasts are. Anywhere you can hear a podcast, Audible, Apple Music, Spotify, iHeart, everywhere. But thank you again for joining. This is Barks to Basic with Jamie Diaz. Keep your dogs happy, healthy, and make sure you choose the right device, which should be no device. Thanks.